For joining us on Politics Tonight, I am Olajumoke Olatunji. At the Governorship Election Tribunal to deliver judgment tomorrow on the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party on the outcome of the election. Tonight we discuss PDP's internal wranglings with the PDP chieftain Sani Umar as my guest. Welcome to the program, everyone. Stay with us. I'll be right back. Thank you very much for staying with us on the program. Now let's bring you some political developments. Despite the ban on public gatherings by the state government, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan earlier today received a rousing homecoming by her supporters and residents of the Hima community of Kogi State, where she arrived Kogi Central aboard a chopper. Her supporters from the 5 local government areas of Kogi Central gathered as early as 8 a.m. to welcome the lawmaker. Her visit comes at a time when efforts are underway to recall her from the Senate, citing a loss of confidence in her representation. On the 6th of March, the Senate imposed a 6-month suspension on Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan on the grounds of misconduct. Chairman of Okei local government area, Amoka Monday, has imposed a curfew following a ban on unregulated public gatherings. He stated that the measure is a proactive step to maintain security and public safety. Barring any last-minute change, the Edo Governorship Election Tribunal is expected to deliver judgment tomorrow on the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party on the outcome of the 24th September poll. The petitioners told the court that the governorship election was invalid due to an alleged non-compliance with provisions of the Electoral Act 2022. The petitioners are seeking that the court nullifies the declaration of Monday Okpebholo as winner over alleged irregularities. But the APC and Governor Okpebholo wants the court to dismiss the petition because the petitioners did not substantiate the allegations. The Independent National Electoral Commission declared Monday Okpebholo winner of the election, defeating Asu Egodalo of the PDP and Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party. So talking politics, the 2023 governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Enugu State, Chijioke Dioga, has returned to the People's Democratic Party. The leadership of the PDP in the state earlier in the year met with Mr. Dioga to reconcile and bring him back to the party. The governorship candidate says he will rededicate himself to the PDP and join hands with Governor Peter Umba to move the state to an enviable height.
So in a nutshell, why we're here is to receive our brother, who has been our member all the while, but for a short while he left us. Welcome him back to where he actually belongs, because PDP is the place to be. PDP is a new state, and the new state is a PDP.
I want to start, first of all, by thanking Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter TVC News. I appreciate that what has happened today cannot even begin to conceive without active involvement.
We also value the inclusion of Ledoga, given the fact that he did well with the Labour Party. But, you know, in politics, what people yearn for, what the masses are looking for, is good governance. So that good governance, the governor has returned to the people in good faith.
For me, I would say it was long expected, considering the conciliatory spirit of our amiable and capable governor, Dr. Peter Ndubisi Mba. From day one, he has shown that politics should not be a game of bitterness, that after politics you have governance.
Let's go to a short break, and when we return, we'll discuss PDP's internal wranglings. Please stay with us, everyone.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What
30 p.m.
Welcome back, everyone. The future of the PDP in the current political landscape is bleak. Leading opposition parties contending with a myriad of internal and external issues gradually eroding its spread and dominance on power. Two big questions tonight. What exactly is wrong with the PDP? And second, what must the PDP do to regain its pride as the self-acclaimed custodian of Nigeria's democracy? Joining me in the program to give answers to this question is PDP chieftain Sani Umar, who joins me virtually. Mr. Umar, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Lagos.
Right. So Nigerians have raised concerns over this lingering crisis in the PDP, and perhaps I should start this conversation with this question. Who is the authentic National Secretary of the PDP?
Well, the authentic National Secretary of the PDP is SKE Ude Okwe. That is the authentic National Secretary. By the Supreme Court judgment, the responsibility of administering the party has been thrown back to the party. And the Supreme Court has clearly stated that issues bordering on party administration and party internal issues are not justifiable, which means you cannot take it to court. And so, following our constitution, which has clearly stated of replacement, the Senator Anyanwu went to contest for the governorship election of Imo State. And when he contested the election, whether he brought a resignation letter or not, it is deemed by our constitution for him to have resigned, because you cannot be holding two positions at the same time. And our constitution provides that he has to resign. So the Southeast Caucus, whose responsibility was to replace them, following Section 47, subsection 6 of our Constitution, sat down, nominated S.K. Okoye, brought S.K. Okoye's name to the NWC. The NWC sat down and ratified him as the National Secretary. And since then, he has been our National Secretary, but the court issues had always been fluctuating. But finally, the Supreme Court has taken a position, and our party will soon sit down and further clarify the matter so that everybody will know that our National Secretary is SKE Ude Okwe.
All right. I'm sure you're aware of the fact that there are two factions laying claim to the position of the National Secretary of the party. The two factions now interpreted the law, the party's constitution differently. Senator Anyanwu on one side argues that since he neither resigned nor was suspended or expelled, his position remains intact. I mean, his supporters cite both the PDP constitution and the 1999 constitution, which allow party executives to contest elections while retaining their positions. Conversely, Ude Okoye's camp insists that once Anyanwu left to contest the governorship, he should not reclaim the seats, as doing so undermines party discipline and continuity. But you talked about the constitution, so let's be clear about what exactly the party's constitution says about this kinds of issue. What does the party constitution say about this particular issue?
So, the party constitution says, section 47, subsection 6, clearly says that where a vacancy exists, the zone or the area where the person comes from will sit down and bring out a replacement. And once that replacement is ratified by the National Working Committee, that replacement becomes the new person occupying that position. And so a vacancy existed because somebody has declared intention
Samar, are you there?
take your position.
Samar, are you there?
Hello?
Mr. Omar, can you hear me? Please go ahead.
Okay. There is nowhere in the Constitution that says that you cannot resign. Nowhere. I want anybody to quote that section that says the national executive cannot resign if they are going for a contest. So once the man has gone for a contest, and the Southeast Caucus and Southeast Working Committee sat down and did a replacement and brought it to the National Working Committee, who ratified it. All those people are party executives. They cannot be, insensitive and will not know the provisions of the Constitution. As to the extent that even the National Working Committee will sit down and ratify something that is illegal. So they did what is legally obtainable within our Constitution. And by that token, SK Okwe becomes our national secretary.
All right. What you've established tonight is that, according to the constitution of your party, Senator Ayawu does not have the moral and legal right to remain as national secretary. But again, Mr. Omar, does the constitution of your party outrightly address what should happen when an executive member of the party at the national level attempts to go for an elected position? Is that part of that constitution that says you must mandatorily resign before seeking elected positions in the country, or justifiably there is a lacuna?
No, the constitution did not specify. It is a general term. Any party executive who wishes to contest election must give 30 days notice and he must resign. So that it's not specified. This is not to only national executive members or to any officer of the party from what level to the national headquarters is bound by that provision.
So evidently, Senator Ayawu had just taken advantage of this lacuna. But his camp is insisting that it's a product of the convention and there are just 3 ways to remove him. Another convention where he could be voted out. Second, he resigns, or he resigns. I mean, and also the third is the legal route. But even with the legal route, the Supreme Court has said, fix your issues internally. So would you say that indeed there is a constitutional crisis that needs to be addressed?
No, there is no constitutional crisis. And there is nowhere where in our constitution where it says that a national officer can only be removed in 2 ways, either by his resignation or through a national convention. I have quoted section 47, subsection 6, which says where a vacancy exists. Where a vacancy exists, it must be replaced. We have been doing it. Even in Kaduna State here, we just did it. And it has been acknowledged. That is how the party is run. So there is no lacuna, there is no problem. People are just trying to muzzle up emotions, to lay claims to what does not even exist.
Well, I mean, let's be honest and quite objective, Mr. Omar. Yes, you quoted section 47, subsection 6, but you've also agreed that there is a lacuna. And agreeably on this program, we've both agreed that Senator Ayawu took advantage of this lacuna. So if this is not addressed constitutionally, do you not think other politicians like him would, in the future, also take advantage of this lacuna?
No, there is no lacuna, like I earlier said. There is no lacuna whatsoever. Senator Ayawu has only demonstrated his desperation to remain as national secretary. The fact that the party has taken several steps, the BOT was not with him, the NWC had ratified. So all these organs of the party, the governors forum, which is the pressure group, are not with him, but he still insists he wants to become national secretary. The fact that all these organs, the two organs are constitutional, the other one is a pressure group, But the pressure group is even stronger than the two organs because the governors forum, they are the ones that run the shop in the party. And since they have decided that SKE Okoye is the national secretary, what he has taken the legal route to challenge them, to say they don't have any constitutional power to do that. But the Supreme Court has now clearly now thrown the thing back to the party. And the party, like I said, depends on the governors because we don't have a president. So the governors are now calling the shots within the party. And the governors have said, no, this is our national secretary. And this is an internal matter. And so if this is an internal matter, the board of trustees says this is our national secretary, the national working committee says this is our national secretary, the governors forum says this is our national secretary. Where is the lacuna?
And you know, I asked the question because, I mean, you've also said it tonight that there is no place in the party's constitution that makes it mandatory for Senator Ayaun to have resigned from his position as National Secretary before embarking on his political quest to become governor of a state. You know, however, politics is not only about legality, it's also about legitimacy and control. And the party structure currently favors Ude Okoye, making governance within the PDP a near impossible task for Senator Ayaun, unless this conflict is resolved. You know that this division could deepen, potentially crippling the party's ability to function effectively. At the same time, Mr. Omar, the PDP cannot afford prolonged infighting, especially as it seeks to reposition itself for upcoming electoral contest. And you know what? Political watchers are saying what began as a legal battle over jurisdiction has now morphed into an internal power struggle. The governors are divided. There are cracks within the NWC. For you, why has this crisis become intractable?
Well, I think what you are trying to do, you are just speculating. Because one, there is no any crack within the governors forum. In fact, for the first time among the governors, the meeting in Asaba was unanimous. Okay. There is no crack whatsoever. All of them agreed that this is the issue. And none of them has come out to say that I didn't say so in the meeting. So all of them are unanimous in that SKE Okoye, Ude Okoye is the national secretary. So there is no problem within the government. There is no crack within the NWC. After all, the NWC are the ones that submitted his name to INEC, SKE Okoye, INEC, to sign documents on behalf of the party. And finally, the BOT. This is the third time that the BOT will put their weight behind SKE Ude Okoye. So I don't think that maybe as an onlooker or an outsider, you believe that there is a conflict. But within us, we know that the conflict has already been resolved. The Supreme Court judgment is very explicit, it's very clear. It rests the power with the party, and the party has already taken a stand. That is it.
All right. So let's talk about the BOT, because I know that the functions of the board as outlined in your party's constitution, Section 13, subsection 1, Section 32, subsection 5A of the PDP constitution says the role of the BOT is to ensure standards of morality within the party. Perhaps that's the reason Senator Adolphus Wabber aligns with the governors, publicly declared Ude Okoye as the substantive national secretary of the party, in full compliance with the declaratory judgments of the Enugu High Court, upheld by the Court of Law. But again, Mr. Omar, the BOT of any party is the conscience of the party, but it looks like the board is handicapped. Am I correct?
Well, they are advisory. Their responsibility is advisory.
Yes.
So as an advisory body, they do not have the power of enforcement, but they have the power of convincing people to toe the line as already enshrined by the founding fathers of the party. So they are like the custodians of the party, looking at what the intention of the founding fathers and how the founding fathers had already planned that the party, the trajectory in which the party should. And so they held positions in the party and who have remained within the party fold towards ensuring that the party succeeds.
Interesting. But I'm also very curious. Is there a subtle division within the Board of Trustees of the PDP? Because, I've heard some members of the PDP say, this is Senator Ayawu pushing back against all odds, doing all he can not to be counted pushed out of the party, just as Senator Ayawu was. And I wonder if this makes sense to you. For them, they say this particular crisis brings to the fore, again, the tradition that has haunted the party since 1998. And truthfully, it's on record that successive leaders of your party have had one reason or another to leave the position on different occasions, though not for similar reasons. Am I correct to say that, to assume that there may be some sort of division within the Board of Trustees of the PDP?
No, I don't think so. Well, our party has its history. And the history of the party is so rich that we have been able to stay in government for 16 years. Now, within those periods, of course, so many things must happen. People will come in and people will go. Like the saying goes that soldier come, soldier go, but barrack remains. Our party is evolving. Now we have been defeated in the 2015 election, and we are now assuming a new responsibility of an opposition. So as an opposition, we are learning the ropes of being an opposition. Nevertheless, the party is structured in such a manner that we are moving, But the major obstacle we started with was during the period of Lemon Sharif, when he came in. That was when the party started going to court, going up and down from one court to another. So this was the period of the conflict of the party. And after Lemon Sharif, Senator McAlpee held sway for 1 year as acting national chairman before Uche Secondus. Again, the issue of courts resurfaced. Uche Secondus was taken to court and he was removed through court pronouncement. And again, the person who succeeded him, Ayu, was also taken to court. And when he was with the instrument of the court, he was removed. So the party now has, understood that the only way, to stop this authority is within is what every contending party will now seek the support of the court. But now, as the court has now clearly come out to say no, this time around, we will not intervene in any party matter. A party matter is not justiciable. You resolve your conflicts yourself, address your issues yourself. This will now stop the interference of the judiciary in party matters, and then it will now give legitimate authority, and it will enforce Section 55 of our 57 of our Constitution, where we say that nobody, no ward chairman, and discipline any NEC member except by the NEC itself. Okay. Now, these are issues that are constitutional and they have come to fore. Now, nobody will now go to court and say what chairman has expelled national chairman, and so the national chairman is gone. No. Now, it is within our own party. Okay. It is within us to now determine if you do it, we know that you have violated our constitution as a ward chairman and you can be disciplined.
Thank you for that. Also, Mr. Mao, when the PDP started blaming the APC for its predicaments, many political watchers were surprised to hear that. The former National Publicity Secretary, talking about Kola Olugbodun, has been very vocal about this. He blamed the crisis rocking your party on the ruling APC. He alleged that the appointment of Nyesom Wike, who is a PDP member, and his involvement in the APC government is part of the strategy to orchestrate the collapse of the opposition party. What has been your position on this? Is it a fact that Nyesom Wike in the governance of the APC has created a room that can lead to the collapse of the PDP? Mr. Omar, did you get that?
Can you hear me? Yes, I got it.
All right.
Now,
Please react to that.
What you have said, I don't want to be, you know, the APC itself, that when they came and took over from PDP, it was, avalanche of blames, from one blame to the other. It is the PDP that did this, PDP that did this. So I don't want to blame the APC and say it is APC that's interfering. It could be that the APC is interfering within our party, but they are not doing it like an APC coming out to interfere in our party. It is somebody who proclaims himself as our member that is trying to liquidate our party by introducing so many measures, using the position that he was given by the APC to muzzle us. Now, unfortunately for him, the people he has been able to capture and to use are no longer with him. The Damagun, Umar Ilya Dagmagun, to return back to base, is no longer with him. Umar Bature, our national organizer, is no longer with him. And now we have a new national secretary, removing his mark, Senator Ayawu. So the party is now on a clearer trajectory to reforming itself and for it to face the future challenges ahead. Now, I want to say this. A person who says, I'm a member of your party, every day he has never abused the NWC. But when these two people left and they are no longer with him, and they came back at a party he had, he called the NWC stupid. That is to show you how angry he was that these people are no longer with him. They are not taking to his own dictates. Then again, he now revoked our own party secretariat and said we have not paid ground rent. Now, if he says he's a member of the party, you are a member of PDP, and we have not paid ground rent, why don't you pay the ground rent for us? You as the minister, since you are a member of our party, yes, you are supposed to pay the ground rent for us and not to revoke it. That revocation is a sign that he is intending to liquidate our party, but the PDP is like the beetle that is not killing the beetle.
All right. I hear that, Mr. Omar, but let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll expand this conversation from where we just stopped. Please stay with us, everyone. Claire, before we went on our break, you've established that the larger percentage of the leaders of the PDP agree or think that Minister Nyesom Wike is a saboteur within the PDP, and he has individually done enough to prove them right. Is that what you've said?
Yes, exactly.
All right. That's established. All right, let's talk about this coalition trip spearheaded by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. I mean, as we speak, is still a member of your party. Is it okay to say that a new coalition within the PDP is brewing? And is this so because clearly the PDP is so badly fractured and can no longer win an election by itself and needs to reinvent the 2015 script of the APC?
No, I don't think this is the general idea. Atiku Abubakar is
And I won't say that I respect your opinion, but then if you say Nyesom Wike working with the APC government proves that he's working against the PDP, what then do you call the coalition spearheaded by the former vice president? What do you call that?
Well, when we say Wike is working against our party, he has, by his actions and words, demonstrated clearly that he is not with the PDP. One, he is the same person.
But he says the PDP gave him the permission to work with the APC government. He said that.
That is not even where I'm going.
Okay.
I'm not even going in that direction. What my direction is that one was done secretly. It was between him and when Damagum was with him. It was only the two of them that knew that thing was done. So it was not the National Working Committee that sat down, discussed, and agreed that you should go and work with the APC. No, it was himself and Damagum that did it, which is not an issue anyway. What is the issue here is that somebody has come out to say, I stand on the mandate, and that in 2027 I will work for the current president to continue. Now that is a clear sign that you are not with your party, because that means anybody that the party feels you are not with him, you are with the current president and you stand on his mandate. And so that is the issue we are talking about. It is very clear, and that nobody, when President Tinubu was reconciling Ubara and Wike in this, when one issue came up, which is that the lawmakers should go back to their respective, they go back to their old party, the PDP. And President Tinubu said, I am the leader of the APC, and I can't say that they should go back. In fact, I need more members. So if more members decide to come to me, I will welcome them. That is how it is done. Now, you are a PDP member, and you claim to be PDP, and then you say you are going to vote anybody in PDP places as presidential candidate. Secondly, PDP, you are working for the APC, and you revoke the land of the PDP because you say they have not paid ground rent. What happens to you paying the ground rent for the party? If you so love the party, because you don't love the party, you want the party, you want the structure to be demolished so that the party will have no presence.
And you know, the next question anyone would ask is, what's stopping the PDP from expelling him? Is it bigger than the PDP?
No. You see, the PDP has its standard rules and regulations, which they are following.
All right. Mr. Omar, are you still speaking? Can you hear me?
All this while, the PDP, not until last year, where they set up two committees. Yes, I can hear you.
All right, please
two committees were set up. One, reconciliation committee. A reconciliation committee was set up, and then the disciplinary committee.
Mr. Omar, can you hear me? Mr. Sarimar, are you there? Mr. Sarimar, can you hear me? All right. So if you can hear me, you know, the next question anyone will also ask is the PDP really the party Nigerians thought it was? And I'm asking because Nigerians really expected a lot from the PDP, having ruled the nation for 16 years. All right. All right. All right, let's take a break, everyone, and I'll be right back.
Stay ahead with the biggest news stories. Go beyond the news headlines. Experience impactful investigations. Enjoy resourceful news coverage in real time. TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. Live every day on this channel. TVC News. First with breaking news. There is always more to a story than the scrimmage headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to Journalists Hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide.
Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us on the program. We're still having this conversation with Sani Umar, a PDP chieftain, and let's also tell you that he's a former media advisor to former Vice President Namadi Sambo. Mr. Umar, thank you very much for staying with us on the program. We lost you for a second. So the question I asked before we went on that break was, is the PDP really the party Nigerians thought it was? And I'm asking because Nigerians really expected a lot from the PDP and still expect a lot from the opposition party, having ruled the nation for 16 years. The last time we had a conversation was in October. And I remember that the conversation we had that night was about the Wike Atiku and the power struggle. There was also the Damagun Must Go campaign. It has now escalated to Ude Okoye and Samayamu. Atiku Abubakar is looking for a way out. Yes, Wike is a minister in the cabinet of an APC government. How bad can this get? Mr. Omar, did you get that? We seem to have some bit of connection challenge with Mr. Sani Omar. Can you hear me, Mr. Omar? Mr. Sani Omar, can you hear me? Did you get that last question? All right, let's take another break while we fix this challenge. Stay with us, everyone. Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us. Sani Umar is my guest tonight, former media advisor to former Vice President Namadi Sambo, is also a journalist and a PDP chieftain. Mr. Umar, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. So the last question I asked before we lost connection with you was, is the PDP really the party Nigerians thought it was? And I'm asking because Nigerians really expected a lot from your party and still expect a lot from the party, having ruled the nation for 16 years. And I remember that the last conversation we had was about the crisis with Wike versus Atiku and the power struggle. There was also the Damagun Must Go campaign at that time. It has now escalated to Ude Okoye versus Samuel Ayam. Atiku Abubakar is looking for a way out with this brewing coalition. Yesa Wike is the minister in the cabinet of an APC government. I will see several defections from the PDP to the APC. How bad can this get?
Well, you see, politics is about alignments and realignments. Now, some people, we call them politicians of stomach infrastructure. They cannot remain in a political party for a long time without having something to eat. So they will shift camp. But when the time comes, you will see the real alignment and realignment. People of the same like minds coming together, trying to, forge a common front to be able to confront their own adversary, political adversary. But as it is now, it is too early for anybody to judge because people are moving to the APC. There is about 2 years plus a time for the APC government's tenure to elapse. And so within that 2 years, they want to be able to go in and partake in the economic activities of the government of the federation. So, but when real politicking starts, and then the campaigns, open up, that is when people begin to align and realign, and we have seen it severally. You have seen even during 2015, you saw that most people didn't leave until at the dying minute, and they started forming new PDP, all these nomenclatures coming together. And even in during Bukola's time, most people it was at the dying minute that they were standing up at the Senate to say, we have defected to this party, we have defected to this party. These are natural things that normally happen. And so nobody should be joyful that I've made a big catch, and nobody should feel a sense of loss that I've lost somebody. That person you lost may come back. And that person you thought you caught, you may have caught the wrong person.
But do you think the leadership or the current leadership of the PDP understand the ideals of the founding fathers of the party? Because I've heard some Nigerians say there is a lot of difference between the PDP and the APC. I mean, we saw the approach APC took when the party was in opposition. We see how APC chieftains, no matter how long you've been in the party, no matter how many times you have become governor, you must respect party leadership, and that they understood what party supremacy means, and that this is the fundamental challenge the PDP has. Some Nigerians outrightly say the PDP has more greedy politicians, and perhaps that's what the party represents, and that the party at this time must go back to the ideals of the founding fathers of the party. Is this correct, Mr. Mara?
Well, I wouldn't say it is entirely correct. But let me put it this way, that our founding fathers, they have laid the foundation for an equitable, just and egalitarian party. And like I said, we came in today and we won the election. And so we are used to being in governance. Okay. And because we are used to being in governance, we were very deficient in terms of being in the opposition. Now, when the APC came in 2015 and they were trying to wrestle power from us, what they did was they did a lot of propaganda. And Nigerians at that time, where there were multiple climax. One, the issue of Boko Haram was very prevalent. Secondly, Nigerians were yearning for a change. They wanted a change. So they were taking any excuse that was given, whether it is true or lies. So the APC took advantage of that and were churning in lies that they promised 101 things they are likely going to do. But as it is, and even in selling their candidates, they were selling their candidates with lies. As it is now, what Buhari said in 2015, he has said it now, and people have now descended on him. In 2015, he said he has 3 houses. And people were saying, you see, he's very frugal. He is not a thief. He is not this. In 2025, same Buhari said to be able to feed his family, and the Nigerian said, shut up. So you see, situation has changed to now give you, the real scenario. Now, PDP cannot take that line of reasoning. You can't, if people lied themselves into power, and you want to use the same strategy, it will not work, because as you are lying, the electorates are getting wiser and more sophisticated. And so the electorates would not agree for anybody to come and take them for a ride. They are now looking, Every day, the Gen Zs are coming up, trying to take the politics away from us. And so they are looking for so many things that we are not even looking at. And so once they begin to cite this thing, the coming in of social media has also helped. So that when you lie now, people will descend on you. And so these are things that are shaping the politics and bringing Nigeria, into the trajectory that we hope to achieve. And the PDP is now making all efforts to reconcile itself and be ready for the challenges ahead.
All right, Mr. Omar, one final question before I let you go. What would you have the BOT and the Governors Forum do at this moment, especially as the Supreme Court has now said, PDP, you must fix your own internal issues and put your house in order?
Yes, what they should do, which is what ought to be done, is for an emergency, although they have put the date for the next meeting. It is because there is no next meeting. Okay. That is why all these things have been festering. Now, once NEC meets and take critical decision, which is final, the NEC decision, other issues that go to national conventions are issues of change of party constitution, perhaps election of national officers and the rest. But critical decisions as it relates to the party and so forth are taken at NEC meeting. And so once NEC meets, all these lingering issues will be resolved, and the party will now, like I told you, chart a course for a future that in 2027 we hope to be in the presidential villa.
All right then. Hopefully. All right. PDP chieftain, journalist, former media advisor to former vice president, yes. Namadi Sambo. Thank you so much for your time on Politics Tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumo KW using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumo KW. I'll see you again tomorrow.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of...
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to journalists' hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays 1:30 p.m.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brand, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of your view are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective. Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia, January 15, 1929. The son of a Baptist minister, King received a doctorate degree in theology and in 1955 helped organize the first major protest of the African American civil rights movement, the successful Montgomery bus boycott. King participated in and led marches for the right to vote, desegregation, labor rights, and other civil rights. He advocated civil disobedience and nonviolent opposition against segregation in the South, influenced by Mahatma Gandhi. The peaceful protests he led throughout the American South were often met with violence. Nonetheless, Dr. King and his supporters were persistent and the movement gained momentum. Dr. King was a powerful orator. He appealed to Christian and American ideals and won growing support from the federal government and Northern White. In 1963, Bayard Rustin and A. Philip Randolph led the massive march on Washington for jobs and freedom. The event's grand finale was King's famous I Have a Dream speech. 250,000 people gathered outside the Lincoln Memorial to hear the steering speech. In 1964, the Civil Rights Movement achieved two of its greatest successes: the ratification of the 24th Amendment, which abolished the poll tax, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibited racial discrimination in employment and education and outlawed racial segregation in public facilities. In the same year, King became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize. In the late 1960s, King openly criticized U.S. involvement in Vietnam and turned his efforts to winning economic rights for poor Americans. He was a leader of the American Civil Rights Movement and organized a number of peaceful protests as head of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, including the March on Washington in 1963. He was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions on their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I am sure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Jackson, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Stay ahead with the biggest news stories. Go beyond the news headlines. Experience impactful investigations. Enjoy resourceful news coverage in real time. TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. Live every day on this channel. TVC News. First with breaking news. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News. First with
welcome to Green Angle. I am Esther Mokwariola. In this week's edition of the program, we get to celebrate the female folks who are making significant strides in their various fields, leaving their mark and inspiring change. They're also driving efforts to promote sustainable lifestyle, protect our planet, and bring others along on this journey. Well, we get to connect with some of these remarkable women to share their stories, their triumphs, and of course, unwavering dedication. But first, the news updates.
This shortage has been attributed to rapid population growth and inadequate wash infrastructure. To address this challenge, The state government, in partnership with WaterAid, has introduced various interventions to improve and sustain water, sanitation and hygiene services, particularly in vulnerable communities.
But water is life, like we said. So if we invest in water, and water is serviceable to every nooks and cranny, then there will be reduction in health inequities. And so when you have that reduction, then you can then face some other things.
So across the states, you have minimum of 350 toilets, minimum. Then if you have that, we have education facilities.